God. So what's new with you?
Absolutely nothing. I need to start packing.
Don't you come in like 4 days?
No, two. I leave Thursday. I land because I actually got an earlier flight on Thursday so I can go to the hockey game, the Avs game, Thursday night.
Oh, yeah. Mom was telling me that you were going to that, but you inconvenienced literally everybody because you land in the middle of the day.
My flight land or takes off at 1:25. So theoretically, I land at 2:30.
Right.
But I didn't inconvenience anybody because you're not picking me up. Grandma's not. Derek is because Derek doesn't do anything on Thursdays.
Right. The only reason Derek has to pick you up is because your flight is in the middle of the day.
Look, blame Dad for that. He could have booked a 5:30 in the morning flight. I just said I would like to go to the game on Thursday. This is one of the cheaper flights. Look,
Whatever.
why do you care? You're not picking me up.
Because I have to listen to it from Dad.
Well, that's not my problem. How does it inconvenience him either? He's not picking me up either.
Because then he has to figure out how you are getting home, even though we all knew it was going to be Derek, whether Dad was able to pick you up or not. You and Derek are like butt buddies or something. Like,
No,
yes.
no. Well, the person it really truly inconvenienced is mom because mom's leaving her car at the house for me.
Why? Where
So
do
she
you have
doesn't
to
have
go?
to so she doesn't have to come home after work and pick me up to the house to just go basically past her work to go to the ball arena. So when she gets off, I'm just gonna drive over there, pick her up, and we can,
I mean, I guess that's fair. Are you guys using Dad's parking pass?
no, we'll have to pay for parking because the
Mm,
game's at 8, and so Dad has to be there at 6. So in order for us to use it, we would have to meet Dad at like 5 at the PD to leave the PD at 5:15. So Dad gets there at 6.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and God knows why Mom can't take like leave early.
It's not that she can't, it's that she won't.
Like you literally have you have two other directors that can run the school.
This is mother we are talking about.
Hey, but yeah, so that's basically it. I have to pack
That
tomorrow.
the fact that you
Well,
haven't packed already
laundry.
is crazy. It kind of stresses me out.
Yeah, I have to I have to be packed tomorrow night before we go over to Paul's so I can see if my stuff's under 50 pounds or just be like, hey mom, can you send me some money just in case it is over 50?
Yeah.
Which I might do and just be like, hey, shit me a little some. But I think I'll be good because I'll put all my hoodies and sweats in my hockey bag and then my clothes and all that in my duffel bag inside my bag. So
I
we'll
guess that
see.
makes sense.
Yeah, but other than that,
Sounds
nothing.
like a riveting week for you.
Nothing. Oh, dude, just finals. I
Oh.
got one more tomorrow and then I'm done. Done with finals.
See, I only have one this week and it's on Thursday. I did have a 10-page paper to write, so
Well, that sucks for you. I had a 5-page paper right for my Civ paper or a Civ final.
yeah, mine is
But
just a 10-page paper that I still need to finish
when does that do?
sometime this week,
When's your last day of school?
Thursday. So I think that's when the paper is due is on Thursday. But
Oh,
it's 10 pages double spaced. So which is basically just 5 pages.
How big is your font? That's not it's not how that works, I don't think.
Yeah, double spaced,
You're telling me a 5 page paper,
double space it, 10
double
pages.
spaced, goes right to 12. I mean, what, right to 10 pages.
It should.
I hope it does. I hope it gets to like 9.5, and then you have to BS the rest of the. Dude, is my little gunner still in the cone?
He is.
What
Poor
did he
thing.
do? What did he do to his paw?
Oh, big stretch, Gunny boy. They didn't find any foreign bodies in his toe.
What?
They didn't find anything like foreign bodies in medical terms is just anything that's not supposed to be there.
Oh, okay.
So like a sticker or something
Yeah,
like they didn't find anything like that. Um so and nothing was broken, so they think that he just like cut inside of his foot, inside of his toes. But when it was like swollen, like twice the size of his foot, and he was walking around outside and like wouldn't put any weight on it. So
when did this happen?
Friday, Friday night.
His mom just texted me a picture.
Yeah, it was like
Like,
Friday night that he was limping. So then Saturday, we called the vet and we were like, hey, can we bring Gunner in? And they were like, no. But our earliest time that you could bring him in is 11:30 on Monday. And dad was like, well, is there anything we can give him to like help the swelling, anything like that? And she was like, well, since I'm not looking at it, you can do like ice and heat.
I would have been like, click, cool, we'll go
And
to a
so dad was
different
like, great. So he put ice and heat and peroxide on it. And dad tried to wrap it and he was not having any
one.
part of that.
Dude does not like his feet touched at all.
No, not in the slightest.
Yeah,
Alrighty. You ready?
yeah.
Okay.
Get
Uh,
this done. I'm hungry.
why didn't you eat beforehand?
I did
Then how are you hungry?
because I eat every hour.
Oh my God. You are
Literally had
literally insane.
I literally had dinner, and then I came back from Target, and then I ate again, and I'm hungry.
What'd you get at Target?
I didn't get anything from Target. I When I tell you I haven't worked since getting back from Thanksgiving break, I've gotten nothing. I have $1.08 in my account right now. I'm so broke I can't even afford a pack of gum. Like, you know the little horse ride and like King Supers, what I used to have there?
Yeah, you can get that.
I could ride that once.
It's a penny.
Since when? The last time I saw one it was 75 cents.
No, it's literally a penny.
Well, I can ride that 108 times. Like, what am I like? So I'm gonna look for a different job or another job in January
That is probably smart.
because I'm so broke.
Isn't there like a Walmart out there?
Yeah, it's our favorite place to go when we're bored.
Why don't
But
you go apply and do like the personal shopping there?
well, because I have to see if their hiring thing is open.
Or like um
Might see if Sam's Club is low key
like
because I get free
DoorDash
membership. No, DoorDash has too many DoorDash drivers right now.
or what was it? Candy used to do it in Cali where you basically do the shopping for people. I don't remember what it is. I'll have to text her, but
Yeah, I'll look on Indeed and just fill a bunch out because I'm
yeah,
gonna try to get somewhere where like I can work here, and then as soon as the semester's over, transfer to one in by the house. So
probably smart.
that's the
You're also going to be
plan.
living in the trailer when you come home for the summer
Why?
because mom doesn't want you sleeping on the couch all summer.
So instead of you sleeping in the trailer, I don't get my room anymore. That's what I'm hearing. Is now I
Right
have to
room
remove
anymore. You don't live here.
all my stuff.
As you
All
have
you,
stated
but
several
you
times,
shouldn't.
you
But
don't
that
live
doesn't
here.
make any sense. That actually makes me so mad because Mama was the person that was like, "Don't worry, when Gina's done washing your sheets, you can have your bed back during Thanksgiving." In what trailer? No, we only have one, and the AC and heat doesn't work in that one right now
We
because you
have
can't charge it.
we have two,
Oh, awesome! So we can pop the breaker because it's going to be so damn cold. I'm going to have the heat on all night.
not during the winter. During the summer,
I don't care about that then. I'll sleep on the couch. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I just don't know where any of my stuff is going to go when I come back for summer, though.
probably in the trailer.
That's awesome. Maybe I'll just go live with Grandma Ruth. I'll live in that house.
Oh, good luck.
I'm way meaner than you, Gina. I can tell.
It's
I'll tell
not
them
about
to
being
kick
me.
rocks. I'll tell them to pound sand.
Hmm.
Concerning Ruth Ann texted me and was like, "Can't wait to see you for dinner on the 20th." I really want to say, actually, I'm staying in Grand Junction.
The 20th.
Yeah, I guess she said they're doing dinner at like 6-ish on the 20th.
Sure.
I don't know.
Is that a
I'm
Friday?
really, yes. Yeah, work, don't you?
I will be at the gym. Thank God.
I'm gonna just show up plastered, so it's okay.
Sure.
So
All
I don't have
right.
to deal with those stupids.
Oh my gosh. Well, hello and
And
welcome to the Bro Code. We decided to do a podcast, just the two of us. Uh, maybe bring on some other people later on down the road, but for now it's just us two. Um, yeah, we kind of wanted to do this because I think we don't talk that much. And we've been talking about doing a podcast for 4 years.
2 years.
Um, and now it's like actually finally happening. So this will be our first official episode of the Bro Code.
Yay.
Here we go.
Yay.
Um, yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself and then we'll get started.
Well, I don't know. I've never had to do this before. So I don't know where to start other than I'm Gary. I'm 20, almost 21.
Scary.
Let's go. Currently live in Grand Junction. Hopefully gonna live here for the next 5 years, unfortunately. Maybe longer.
Listen,
Um,
it's expensive everywhere else. So,
the unfortunate thing is me and Justin found an apartment for less than $2,000 a month, but it's kind of in the middle of the hood, so we probably won't be getting that one.
well, as long as you lock your door, you should be fine.
Um, that doesn't stop anything. You can lock your door and cops will kick it down no matter what. So it's gonna stop a robbery from doing that. Anyways, what else? I think that's about it.
What do you
I'm
like?
younger than Gino. I'm cooler than Gino. That's for
Well,
sure.
I was like a
I'm
brick
sure.
wall at this, like,
um, Go to the gym on my free time. Um, I used to play competitive hockey. Currently not doing that right now. Still sort of injured, but other than that, I hang out with friends on the weekends and do what we like to call college shenanigans. Because I can't say the other word on this podcast right now.
uh, yeah. So
It rhymes with ducking.
I am Gino. I am Gary's older
Damn.
by like 2 years.
2 years and 9 months.
Yep. There is three of us. We do have an older sister. Um, so that would make me the middle child, unfortunately, which throughout this
Still doing it.
podcast, you will probably get that I am a middle child with our stories of childhood, and maybe we'll do like a whole episode about like childhood stories growing up, and we'll bring Angel on for that. But uh yeah,
I just remembered the one where we when we were playing hide and seek.
and you forgot to seek. Yeah, that's
Fell
just
asleep in the
a
closet.
core memory in my brain. Yeah. um I have played all sorts of sports
Well
growing
played.
up: wrestling, hockey,
Oh, I did
baseball,
Roswell.
uh
You didn't play
golf.
baseball. You picked
I golfed for a
dandelions.
year.
You picked.
Okay, I played baseball. I was present. I hit the ball. Then they stuck my bitch ass in the outfield and said, good luck. But
Uh,
then I decided to switch things up and played or did all-star cheer for 5 or 6 years. And now I'm coaching. So that's just a
oh
little bit
God.
about me. I don't hang out with friends. I actually just
Because
sit
you
at
don't have
home.
any. Because you don't
I
have
do
any.
have friends. I just would prefer to be
There's
at
a problem, Gino, when you are 22,
home.
right?
Yeah.
Almost 23, and I go to the club more than you do.
I don't
And
like the club, which
neither do I.
we will
I
we
don't
will
like
get
the club
into
either.
we will get into that. But no. I would much rather just be at home reading or watching true crime. So
You're such a middle-aged man.
I am. And occasionally I'll crochet. So I think that makes me like
That's even, yeah, I was about
it.
to say, you're in between like a 40-year-old single dad that got divorced for 6 years and a 90-year-old grandma with
Correct.
17 grandkids.
Correct. Yes. So our first episode is going to be on hypermasculinity, uh, masculinity, just kind of in general, and what that looks like in, you know, straight spaces that you are occupying and queer spaces that I am occupying, because guess what? I am gay. In case you
Who would have thunk it?
in case you couldn't get
Nobody
that
saw
from
that
the
one.
way that I talk. Um, yes,
Nobody
I
saw
am
that one coming.
in fact gay. So I wanted to talk about hypermasculinity and all that kind of stuff because uh newsflash, I have been victim to it. So we will
You said swell.
I had to like think for a minute. So we will get into that, but I wanted to first start off by talking about what that hypermasculinity looks like. Um, Specifically in masculine spaces like the gym or the locker room, places
Lockroom's
like
cool.
that.
I don't
So
know if you can really say Lockroom as a hyper masculinity place because if you've ever been in a locker room, depending on the team, there's no. It's a definitely depending on the sport. It's very like a. If you've never been in it, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But it's definitely like a bunch of guys just being super gay towards each other, and nobody has a problem with it
yeah, but I think that's
until there is a major problem like Team Canada had 2018, I think.
what happened with Team Canada in 2018.
I want to say it was 2018. Bunch of guys basically sexually assaulted slash raped their teammate by sticking sticks up their ass or his ass. So like, and now all these guys are like in the were slash are in the NHL. So now some of these like 22, 23, 24 year olds that are making 6, $7 million a year are now fighting for their careers basically. Like I think there's 6 of them that got charged.
That's crazy.
I low. Let's see.
Your Wi-Fi
I can
is terrible.
look. Well, welcome to living in a dorm room, all right?
Fair. Well, you can tell me about that later. Um, because I am actually very curious about that. How many there are. there were. But that's literally exactly what I wanted to talk about was this like hyper masculinity in spaces like the locker room and the gym. Because yes, there is this like homoeroticism in the locker room, but I think at the end of the day, it is like a dick measuring contest of like
More or less, yeah.
you know, like the guy with the biggest dick isn't going to be the one with a stick up his ass. You
Well,
like unless he wants it. But like,
well,
hey,
let's
no shame.
see. Ah, see, I found it. Found a link for it.
Just tell me how many it was.
Um, According to ESPN, there's 5 players in question.
Interesting.
New Jersey's Devil forward Michael McLeod and defenseman Cal Foote, Philadelphia Flyers goaltender Carter Hart, Calgary Flames forward Dylan Dubé, and former Ottawa Senators forward Alex Formenton.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this was in 2018. So when we get to this topic more, well, I'll read that.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's kind of interesting. It's definitely one of those where I was like, I saw it come out and I was like, oh, that's that's new because this team won the World Juniors in that.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. Well, like I think that is kind of one of the things that I want to touch on is like where is the line? And I think that is what is really I don't know if like traumatizing is like the right word, but I'm going to use it.
well, I mean, if you think
Why
about it, the
it's like
dude,
traumatizing for like queer people specifically in these hypermasculine spaces, like those kind of games and finding that line is really hard when you're already struggling with finding your identity and then you're
oh
also
yeah,
stuck in
yeah,
this
yeah.
hypermasculine
It's definitely traumatizing for not only the victim, but now the 5 suspects, and now the entire hockey community.
I don't know if it's
Because
really that traumatizing for the suspects.
I mean, it's not as traumatizing as for them as the victim, of course, but it's a little traumatizing for the suspects because these guys were NHLers. Like they had their whole careers. They were 2 years older, 3 years older than you, maybe.
Yeah, but
So
I
now
think
they were making. I think it's traumatizing only because they were like, oh shit, this is actually not good. But also like it happened in 2018. The lawsuit finally came out in 2022. So it's only been 2 years since the lawsuit came out,
yeah,
and they've been able to play, practice,
which that is crazy to me.
be in the league still while this is all going on.
But I think that is just a testament to rape culture of, you know, what about their careers and, you know, or that like
Yeah,
boys will be boys sentiment that you
I
see
don't,
all over the place.
yeah, I don't know if the name of the um oh, I thought it was a teammate. It was not,
Who
not a
was?
teammate at all. Um, so the teams of guys that I said before were
Yeah.
part of Canada's gold medal winning World Junior Championship team in 2018 that has been under investigation after a woman alleged she was sexually assaulted by 8 members of the team in a civil lawsuit filed in 2022.
Oh my
Each
God.
player turned himself into London police over the past several days to face charges pertaining to the police investigations. Lawyers for all 5 men confirmed to ESPN that their clients deny any wrongdoing and will fight the charges brought against them.
Hmm.
And then the commissioner of the NHL told reporters on Friday that the NHL had commissioned its own year-long investigation to the incident that included interviewing every player from the 28 team. Bettman said the league will not release its findings until after the London police's judicial process is finished. And
Interesting.
that this was in when the hell did it? When was this? Okay. This was released in February 5th of this year, was this article. So very recently had this
Yeah.
information been. So yeah, I don't know the other three members. I'm sure I can figure out the other three involved in it. I'm assuming it's probably at least three players and at least three players for all three, or another player and a staff member, or
Yeah.
who knows.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. But I think that kind of goes to this hypermasculinity and drinking game. Catch how many times I say hypermasculinity. Hate to break it to you. Um,
Oh, just wait till we get to the next episode
like,
about finding your identity after an athlete. Oh,
yeah. But I think with hypermasculinity specifically, and to a certain degree, just masculinity in general, there is a level of entitlement and like this macho man behavior that goes along with being raised in a hyper masculine culture, you
oh
know?
yeah. Oh, oh yeah.
And
This is
and I know
definitely a big like with the five guys that I read, they were all almighty because they were in the NHL, but
hmm
boom, flip of a switch. Here you go. Now you're basically a fighting for your career and fighting prison time. Like I don't know the amount of time that if you get convicted of this, like what is it in Canada?
yeah, I don't know. Well, and like let's say they are actually innocent. Now they have like this reputation of being accused of this thing,
Oh
you know?
yeah,
And I'm never gonna just
even if you're not guilty, the accuser's even worse.
like, and
Well,
I am
not worse,
not
but
going to side with the perpetrators whatsoever. I don't know any part of this story. This is the first time I'm hearing it.
yeah,
Like, I'm always going to believe a victim first and foremost.
yeah,
Like,
they are. My thing is, I'm a gonna believe the victim, and B, the shitty thing is they're innocent until proven guilty
in the court of law,
in the
yeah.
court of law. You're right, but
But in
we
the court
as
of public appeal, you
oh,
are
100%.
guilty until proven innocent.
Yep, and I don't know, um, like how far along the case actually is right now.
Interesting.
So it could literally be because I know last time I saw it, it was they were doing all like the pre-hearing stuff. Like, do you know what you're charged with? Do you know like all
Yeah.
like the boring pre-court hearing before the pre-trial stuff
Yeah.
actually went, or they were doing last time I saw it was all the pre-trial stuff.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, I also wanted to say that like these hyper masculine spaces aren't just the locker room. I think that just is kind of a good example of a hyper masculine space, but like the gym is a hyper masculine space. And I think you often ask like, "Oh, why don't you go to the gym as much or at all?" Honestly. And I'm like, I know I should,
Mm.
but the culture of the gym is incredibly hyper masculine.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's the unfortunate thing is it is, but it's also depending on what gym you go to, it's better, but it's still not
But I
Great.
don't think it's the gym itself. I
It's the
think
Jimmys.
it's just gym culture is very hyper masculine. It is again a dick measuring contest. I
Yeah.
mean, like, we laugh at Planet Fitness of having these like
Oh,
no grunts allowed and like you'll get
the lunk
like
alarm. Oh,
but like that kind of stuff is gym culture, right? Like it
yeah.
is who can lift the most weight or gain the most muscle or have
Who's the
like
who's the loudest when it comes to lifting weight? Like my thing is like when I'm in the gym and I have my both my headphones on, like both sides. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me because usually like I'm a pretty quiet gym goer. Like I don't make a lot of noise unless like A, I'm really hurting, or B, like the weight is actually really, really heavy for me. But even then, like I don't make these it's much like it's deeper breaths and louder breaths, but I
mhm.
don't make super loud noises. Now when I'm doing shoulder shrugs and I drop the weight, yeah, that's kind of loud because the weight's 80 pounds. But
Well, and I also have not had great experiences in gym culture. Personally speaking, I have like, I mean, I've gone to the gym with you a few times, and none of those have been bad.
you
But
went to the gym with me, but you didn't work out with me. You
I
walked
did
in
the
and
treadmill
ran on the treadmill for two
because
hours.
the culture of weightlifting,
It's
I've never had a
yeah,
good experience in
especially in high school.
being.
You didn't have a good one. You didn't have a good one in high school.
I mean, I took a beginning weight training class in high school, not because I wanted to gain muscle or anything, but because one, actually, the one and only reason I took it, where there's two reasons. One, I needed a PE class, and two, the teacher was hot. So I was
Who
like,
was the teacher?
Bowers.
Oh, it was Coach Bowers.
So like
Wasn't
he,
he the old? What sport did he coach?
I don't think he coached a sport. Truth, I don't think he actually coached a sport. He was just one, not 87 years old like our other PE coaches. And like he played the guitar. So like randomly he would just bring his guitar to PE class while we were
We
working.
only
And
had
like
one old, actually, yeah, one super old PE teacher.
we're not going to drop any names as if we haven't,
Why? I will. I don't care. I don't go to that high school anymore. What are they going to
because
do?
I don't want people to find us, truthfully. But anyway, that's the whole reason I signed up for this class. And the amount of times I was called a slur in the class, too many to count. The amount of times I heard a slur that was maybe not directed at me, but just like in the gym, again, too many to count. And I understand that this is like high school, but unfortunately, not many men grow out of high
Mm,
school.
yeah, nobody really understands like the effect of that, really.
Right. Well, and like at the time of me taking this class, I was already struggling with who I was and, you know, figuring out like the different parts of who I am and compartmentalizing every single part of me. So I was a different person in all of these different spaces and figuring out who like the actual real me was. And that sounds very cliche coming out of my mouth and not just in my brain, but like it's
That's
true.
yeah, when you're in like those spaces like that and you really don't know like who you are, it's magnified. It makes it a whole lot worse.
Well, and it's I was masking in a way like in need of survival. And that
Yeah.
sounds like dark and bleak, but like I think that's the reality of what was actually happening was, and I'm also not the only one, but a lot of queer people have to find where that line is this like hyper masculine or is this being gay, and what is too gay in
Yeah,
these
where's the line?
like I mean, we talked about the like bubblegum game, right? Like it's funny and it's silly and it's stupid, but
Ugh.
like at what point does that cross the line into being, oh, now you're being too gay, so now you're going to be called a faggot, right?
I will say this about that. The bubble game, the bubblegum game is just one, it's funny for everybody, but two, like everybody knows doesn't leave the locker room, but you only do it with a certain guys. Like you learn the team first because it's one of those games where it's like if somebody gets upset, we're all screwed.
I will say it has been played every single time I have been in a locker room. And
That
I
is
don't
true.
know if that says more about me or the locker rooms I was in,
Um,
but
Probably a little bit of both because I was about to say, yeah, most of the locker rooms I've been in, somebody starts it. And like you don't be like walking in the locker room one day and one night during practice, be like, hey, we should play bubblegum. No,
it
it
just
just happens. It's just there. And then it's usually one guy that does it the entire time.
Mhm.
But then you get like a two or three, then you get four, and then you got a whole then it's just a whole funny game. Same with
Right.
helmet or helmet swirl or twirl
But
is
then you
also
have
another fun game.
those queer athletes. And again, I mean, I know I'm not the only one,
No, no.
but I was the only one
Yeah, I was about to say I've never
in
played with a queer player.
that you know of. Statistically speaking, you probably have. Because statistically speaking, and again, this is probably an old statistic. I haven't looked it up recently, but
Yeah,
statistically speaking, 1 out of every 10 people are gay. So
yeah.
like,
Uh,
you probably have, but in especially the sports industry, being gay, I think it's gotten to a point where it's not necessarily like frowned upon. Like it's not like disgraceful to be gay and in sports,
yeah,
but
but it's
it
not
is
fully
definitely
welcoming.
like it's
It's not fully welcoming.
it's for sure not welcoming. Like, and I think that's what's funny about like the book series I'm reading is
Yeah.
it is like gay because I like to read what I can relate to, but like there isn't, and it is
I don't
smut,
read.
truthfully, but
Is
like
what?
it is smut. So like there are sometimes I'm reading shit and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to do some
Go
Halo
do homework.
something. Like that was a lot. But like there is also like a very serious aspect to this of I have to keep this a secret in order to keep my career. And I don't think it's
Yeah,
the sports industry. It's
I think it's
it all the time.
every industry, every career is like that. Like
Right.
there was a player that got traded not too long ago, I think earlier this week, who was like during the summer, the ownership of the team and the leadership of the like the organization was like either you choose your career or your family. And the guy was like, this makes that made it super easy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the captain of the hockey team. So not only over his head, but now how can he lead other guys? How can he lead other professional athletes when he had to just make this terrible decision that nobody should ever have to make?
Right. Well, and I think we saw it a lot with and I should remember his name because he came up when I was doing research, but the um football player that was like semi recently drafted, and I think it was in the past like 5 or 6 years. It wasn't like this most recent season. Um, but I think it was like pre-COVID, was drafted, and in celebration of him getting drafted, there's a video of him kissing his boyfriend
Oh,
because
he was
like
on the Raiders. He got drafted by the Raiders, I think.
I think so because that is
Um,
somebody he loves and like somebody who cares about him so much that like obviously that is an exciting moment. And if it were a straight couple, nobody would have batted an eye. But because it was a gay couple in this
well, the
masculine,
first one was in 2017. I
was
mean,
it
2014.
2017?
2014 was the first one that the first gay player drafted in the NFL.
I do know there is no current player on in the NFL that is out. There's a bunch of out players like previously.
Carl Nassib,
Yes, that's him.
the first openly gay player to play in an NFL game in September of 2023. Nassib announced his retirement from the NFL. Why the hell did you retire so early?
But like that's what I'm saying. Like it seems very welcoming, right? And on the outside or in their words, all of these organizations are doing, right? The NFL, the NHL, the MLB, like all of them are doing this. We support you, and hockey or the NHL has the everyone can play or whatever that organization is that is supposed to, and they're there at every like pride night and they're supposed to like get these queer people to say or to come along with the idea that the sport is welcoming, but then like actually in action it's not.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those where it's like how welcoming you truly.
Right. But I think it comes down to the culture of the sport, right? Or of sports in general. You
I
know,
think it's I think it's just I think it's just sports in general, unfortunately, make it not so welcoming for the LGBTQ community members like to actually come out and be like, I'm gay, I'm bi, I'm whatever, but I'm still this top athlete. Because
right.
I think now the NHL is probably the most welcoming just by what they've done. Because the Carl Bettman, the commissioner, was like, we're gonna ban pride tape and we're gonna ban all this different types of tape, and that everybody in the league was like, sure, ban it, but watch us
Right.
all wear it during Pride Month. And what are you gonna do? Fine all of us? Yeah, sure, fine us all. We're gonna pay. We don't care. So I
Right.
think the NHL is the most welcoming. I don't know, like truly how welcoming they really are.
Right. Well, and it's really interesting to see like when these players do come out, there is an overwhelming majority of acceptance, which I think is really cool to see. Like, I mean, I watched the docu-series on Netflix about Colton Underwood, who was a I think he played in the NFL for a minute.
Who?
Colton Underwood. Um, and then he went on to The Bachelor and won The Bachelor and was dating this girl and then did a lot of really shitty things and then came out because it turns out that he was doing all of these shitty things because he was terrified of the fact that this girl would uh like reveal his secret to the world even though she didn't know what was going on. He was just paranoid. And now he's like married and has a child, but he released a docu-series on Netflix. I think it was like a while ago, truthfully. But it is his coming out story. And he was met like mostly with acceptance. Now, him coming out did not excuse his bad behavior because putting a tracker on your girlfriend's car is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's insane. Yeah, he supposedly played three three years, but he really only played two
Interesting. Yeah,
from
like
2014 to 16. It looks like.
oh, okay. Yeah, they didn't talk that much about it in the like actual docu-series, but there
Yeah,
was one
season
part,
14 of The Bachelor.
there you go. There was one part of the series that he goes to like his old high school and talks with his old high school coach, and he's like, "Hey, there's some really shitty things that happened, and like I just want you to admit that it happened and like say that something is going to change." And the coach basically was like, "Well, boys will be boys, I guess."
Uh, that is so dumb because, like, especially with the people I hang around with, like, when one of our friends screwed up last week, all of us guys were like, "Yo, dude, like, you can't do that. Like, that shit's not okay, like, at all." And we told him, like, you know what you did was wrong. You admit what you did was wrong
Mm-hmm.
because we were like, we're not backing you up in this because what you did was wrong, but you admitted it, so we could back you up now that you admitted it.
Right.
And literally the next day, he went up to the whoever it was. I'm not going to tell the name or what happened, but he went up to the person that it happened to and was like, "Yo, what I did was not cool at all. Like, I apologize." And she was like, "Yeah, you're okay." Like, not like you're okay, but like accepted the apology. And now we're like, okay, now I mean, we're not going to be like, "Oh, boys will be boys. It's fine." Like, keep doing it. No, like,
Right.
I wish more people would be like, "Yeah, what you did, not okay at all."
Well, I
Like,
think that's how
let's
we're going to.
like like the not guilty for reason of insanity makes me so mad because of that. Like, most of the time, most people know right from wrong.
Yeah, not if
I
you're
don't,
insane though.
but do you know how many times people are like, "Oh, I'm not guilty for reason of insanity," and like four doctors like, "No, like he's perfectly fine. He's just fine." And but it's literally just for the prosecutor because not only do they have to show him guilty or show the person guilty, but they have to show them they were not insane. Like, you can be insane after the fact,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what I'm like. You can't be like, "Oh, I'm not guilty because I'm insane." What are you gonna do? Sit in a what is it, mental hospital for the rest of your life? Really? You knew right from wrong. You weren't insane your entire life. You knew eating the red crayons not good. You knew stealing Twinkies from the fat kid on the playground not cool, not good. Now it's bad. Now it's good because you're insane. Really.
Well, and I think that's when we're going exactly what you were doing with this person, like whatever happened, that I think is how we're going to see a change in this culture because I think there is a level of homophobia in these hypermasculine spaces. And I
Yeah,
don't think it is the kind of homophobia that you see in the like cheesy ass uh infomercial type videos that they showed us in like the anti-bullying videos of that kind like I think there is still that level of homophobia for sure, but I think the level of homophobia now is a lot more discreet and a lot more like it's played as like, oh, we're just joking, but also I'm
yeah.
literally calling you a faggot. So I'm
I'm
not,
not totally joking,
yeah, I'm not totally
but
kidding, but also,
like, don't get offended because it's just a joke.
yeah, I mean, like when I was in high school, there was like we have built a culture of changing in the locker room is a dick measuring contest, and all we're doing is changing.
Yeah,
And I wanted one, no part of that. Two, again, struggling with my sexuality. So I went into the stall and changed in the stall and then went out to PE class because I don't want to be there any more than anybody else. And it was also at a time when the girls and boys were split up and
I didn't want to be
all
in
of my
PE
friends
class.
were girls. So now I'm isolated. And so I just want to know part of it. And I was called a pussy multiple days in a row because I was not wanting to engage in this homophobic culture,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
think,
I think back then it was like if you don't want to be a part of it, you're a pussy. You're like,
yeah,
no,
you're
it's
gay.
just like that's not cool. That's
Yeah.
not what I want to be a part of. Like, I'm not gonna go be like, I'm gonna hang around gang members. Like, I'm not a gang member. I don't want to hang out with them. Like, even if like people are like, oh, it's cool to do that. No, it's not.
Yeah. But I,
One, it's kind of scary, and two, like, I don't want to do that. Like,
yeah.
no, that's not. It's not cool. Like, it's not cool to be a dick.
Oh, a
It's
thousand.
not cool to be an asshole. It's not cool to be racist or like homophobic or just like what's the other one? It, it's not cool to be an asshole or a dick. Like, just be a good person.
One
But like,
thousand, but that comes with educating yourself.
and maturity.
But I think part of maturity is educating yourself. And unfortunately, like I hate to break it to you, anybody who is listening, it is not up to the oppressed to educate the oppressor.
No.
It is not my job as a queer person to educate you as to why the F slur is bad.
And it
It's
doesn't take that long to figure it out. Literally, I Googled the 2018 hockey scandal, figured an article. You can Google the same thing. Why
like
is the F slur bad? You could Google that while in a car ride or
it's
walking to
not up
class
to
or talking to somebody. It's not that hard to figure it out. It's not the oppressor's job to tell you and educate you. It is your job to educate yourself.
well, and that's what
Like
I
when we get, as we've gotten older through school, our job to take one, our schooling more serious. And
mm-hmm,
two, if we're confused, we research other things.
1000%.
Like I'm gonna find like most who is it? One of the Bill Gates was like, I'd rather hire a lazy person than a person that who works hard all the time. Because a lazy person is going to find the fastest and easiest way to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest person, harder working person is going to struggle and stress themselves out. Like
1000
I'm a terrible test taker, terrible studier too. Like if I go to the library by myself, won't get anything done. If I go with somebody, I'm more likely to get my stuff done.
yeah.
But like I'm gonna look at a Quizlet a day before my exam and pray to God that it works. But that's just me. But it's also like I've had teachers that are like, "You're a terrible test taker." So here's a packet of what we've done, and this is your assignment. They tell me that's assignment. It's due at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm like, oh shit, it's an assignment, not a test. But in reality, it's the exact thing, same thing. It's the test. The word for word, it will probably like Mr. Martinez literally gave me a packet for our final when I was in human anatomy. And he was like, this is not an exam. This is not a test. This is an assignment. It's open note and it's due at this date. I
Yeah.
was like, cool. Word. Finished it in like 2 days. And it was like a 60 question, like biology thing. Like it was not easy.
Right.
But I was like, oh, it's an assignment. I told him, cool. Turned it into him and goes, good job. You just finished your final. I was like, what? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh. He's
But
like,
like,
because people know that. Like he did his own research on his students to figure out what works for them.
mm-hmm.
Do your own research to figure out why the slur is bad. Why calling why calling anybody the F slur? Figure out why that's bad.
I am all for
Please.
having a conversation. I will
Yes.
happily sit down and have a conversation. And that's what I tried to tell our cousin Ben when we were at the on a playground and he's dropping the F slur left and right. And I was like, hey, let's
Not cool.
let's maybe
Yeah.
not say the F
But that
slur,
was also a different time. We
right?
were definitely younger.
But I don't think that excuses it. I
I
told him
think
I
it
was like,
doesn't, but I think it does a little bit because we were 13, 14. Don't get me wrong. We all had phones, so we could figure it out. I think
yes.
now
Well, and I told
it's
him I
better.
was like, right now, in this moment, as we are actively on the playground, I am not going to explain to you why it is bad. This is not the time or space to
In
explain to you why it's
BFE,
bad.
Nebraska.
But what I will say is, we're not going to say that word, period, but specifically in front of children. When we get
Yeah,
back to
that
the
was
campsite, I will happily have a conversation with you about why we're not saying this word and why it is problematic and how it was used against queer people and like I will happily have that conversation with you.
yeah.
Here and now on the playground, I'm not having that conversation with you.
No, no. And it wasn't your job to even have that conversation when we got back. Because like you said, like I said, it's not the oppressor's job to tell the oppressor why something is bad. Now I think now that he's a little bit more mature, I think he knows why. Like he's definitely a little better. I don't know,
Yeah,
like the problem is his older brother. That
that
one's a different story. That one's
that part. Well, I think with the older
a
brother
little bit.
with John, I think it is more.
Good job not name dropping, buddy. Just saying.
I was gonna try, and then I was like, actually,
But
maybe if I really feel like it, I'll bleep it, but I don't really feel like that. Do you know how common the names John and Ben are?
not in our family. There's only one of each of them.
I'm not talking about specifically our family. I'm saying, do you know how common those names are?
Yeah, but if you just said John Ben, it would be better. You said our cousin.
Oh, well. Anyway, um, I think the issue with the older one is that
He
if
can
it
never be
does not,
wrong.
I don't think he likes to admit that he is wrong, correct. But I think if it does not come from his mom or his dad, it is not accurate. It's not accurate information.
Yeah. Or if he didn't find it himself.
Right. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, then do your own research.
Figure it out.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't, here's my issue, my flaw, my red flag. I love to argue. I
Oh,
do.
dude, oh
I
God.
think it's so fun. But
The
also,
funny part is like I know I was wrong 20 minutes ago. I'm just gonna keep arguing with you because I think it's so funny to just see people just get irritated and like 20 minutes later, like, yeah, you were right 30 minutes ago, and just walk away and they're like, oh, I've done that so many times.
but also, I'm okay with being wrong. I just
I am
like,
too. Yeah, I am too. If like I know I'm wrong, but like if I know I'm
yes.
right about a certain topic,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna let you tell me I'm wrong because I
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's certain
But like,
stuff when he was like about cars, I was like, no, like my car is like a decently good car.
don't even get me
Like
started on that.
there's some things that yeah, Nissans aren't the best car, but for what I need and what year it is and what it is, yeah, it's a great car. And he's like, no, that's a terrible car. Don't get it. And I was like, look, brother, one, the other two vehicles I want aren't the greatest either. One because one bad slip up and I can die. I want a motorcycle.
Yeah, let's maybe not do that.
And the other one's a Jeep. Jeeps aren't very good because they're not reliable.
They just don't have a very good longevity.
That you're right. They're super For the most part, they're actually really good cars. They're
For the first 3 years.
you can only have them for like 3, 4 years, and then after that, they're like those stools in like high school where you can lean back and you just hear the chair go.
Yep.
You could
That
pop your back on them.
that stool will
Oh,
stay standing.
oh.
Will have back problems for the rest of your life from sitting on it, though.
I don't know. I would pop my back on those things. I would bend the chair back and just hear my spinal cord just go. But
Oh,
like, that's the problem. I was like, because he told me, he was like, "Oh, get ready for out of college. You're gonna have to replace your whole transmission in your car." And I was like, "Why? Like, why would I have to replace my entire transmission?" And he goes, "Because after like 10 years, the transmission goes bad." And I was like, "I don't know if you're aware of this. Um, when I get out of college, my car's gonna be over 20 years old."
yeah.
And he was like, "No, it won't. It's only a 2020." No, he goes, "It's only 2015." I was like, "No, it's a 2005. Like it's already 10 years old." He's like, "No, it's not. It's 2015." I was like, well, "You're gonna tell me I'm wrong about the vehicle I drive on a daily basis,
Mhm.
on every day?" And this is when I was still in high school. It's like to school, back to school, to practice, to the games, to the rink, to the gym, everywhere I go.
Yep.
Or I literally had to go into my car to grab my registration
Hmm.
to show him it was a 2005. And then he proceeded to goes, that's weird. And I was like, what do you
Yeah.
mean that's weird? Just say you're wrong. Like it's okay.
It is
Because
okay to be, and this goes for anything in life. It is okay to be wrong.
yeah,
Like,
unless you're married, then it's never okay to be wrong.
no,
And then if you're the wife, you're never wrong, even though, sorry to break it to you, mom, you've been wrong quite a bit of
that's
time.
the we listen and we don't judge. Right.
Nah, nah, nah. I judge. I don't care.
Oh, I happily judge.
I will judge and say it to your face and have no like. I don't care. Like
100%.
when mom was yelling about you about the clothes over Thanksgiving break, I was judging it. I was laughing so hard because I knew they were mine.
I know.
But I just saw her going off on you,
Dramatic.
and I was just letting her go,
Uh,
letting her eat.
yeah, but back to hypermasculinity. I know we went on a bit of a tangent, but I fear we both have a little bit of undiagnosed ADHD. So
Shit,
that's gonna
mine ain't undiagnosed. I was in the special needs classes.
that doesn't mean you were diagnosed. You were not diagnosed with ADHD.
Shit, I
None of us
wish.
were.
Maybe I'd be on Adderall. Oh,
Probably. And I fear it would probably help you. But back to what we
no,
were
that should just keep
about.
me awake. Unfortunately, I've taken Adderall before. That shit just keeps me
Actually,
awake.
but back to kind of what we were talking about with hypermasculinity. We touched on queer people in these hypermasculine spaces. But I want to talk about hypermasculinity in queer spaces. And I know you are probably not going to have a ton of insight because I'm the token gay in our family. So I have apparently all of the knowledge about the gay experience. I don't, but I do want to talk about hypermasculinity in queer space or yeah, hypermasculinity in queer spaces. And you can feel free to still give your opinion and all of
Oh,
this
don't you
stuff.
worry. I will.
I know you have a lot of it.
Oh, I
But
love my opinion because my opinion is always right. It's
um,
the best. Just kidding.
well, I don't know if
Shut
that's
up.
necessarily true.
Shut up. Shut up. Yes, it is.
But
Shut up.
what do you know about mask for mask gays? Nothing? Okay, great.
Not a soul. You see this. I don't have a blank wall in my room. See the door? See how
That's
nothing's
you.
on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how much I know. Blank
Okay,
space. I ain't
perfect.
got nothing.
Perfect. So you know the app Grinder, right?
Sure
Have you
do.
heard of it? Great. On,
Don't have it, but I know what it is.
I do because sometimes I feel bad about myself, and horny men will compliment literally anything about you.
Here's a problem. Just download Twitter. It's basically the
Oh,
exact
I
same
also
thing.
have Twitter, but Grinder is for real men that are in my space right now. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. Maybe we will eventually down the line, but right now that's not what I want to talk about.
Well, for
On
real.
Grinder, there are these things like tags that you can put on your profile of how you identify yourself, right? You
Yeah,
know what a twink is, or a bear, or a jock. Like those are all tags on Grinder, right?
sure.
One of those tags is, and I don't know if it's necessarily like a tag or if it's just something that is in a shit ton of people's bios, and it is mask for mask. So it is masculine men looking for other masculine men.
So
And
they just want to have a big ass sausage fest of masked men.
probably, but I think from my research, there is a reason behind this. And I think it is because these men want to be as close to their oppressor as they can get, right?
That
Yes,
explains your type.
yes, I sleep with men, but I don't sleep with those gays, right? I'm sleeping with masculine men, so I'm still close to masculinity. Therefore, I'm as close to a straight man as I can get.
Well, you probably not. You don't sleep with anybody, unfortunately, my
Well,
friend.
that is true. Um,
Do your
and I
best.
think it is more about being straight passing rather than actual masculinity, right? Because I
Yeah.
made the very unfortunate mistake of hopping on Grinder, as well as this other guy that I found his article. And every single profile that had mask, masculine, anything like that in their name, because on Grinder you don't have to use your real name. You can just have emojis or whatever. Um, and every masculine, I had spent like 10 minutes, so it really wasn't that many. But every profile that had masculine in their bio, I asked them, well, what does masculinity look like? What does that mean? Because I
Yeah.
think there is a level of, I think I know what masculine means.
But what does it
But
truly
like,
mean?
if you asked me what masculinity meant, I'd be like, well, fuck.
You see here. Yeah.
Actually, no. So I wanted to read some of these. Um, not that I found, because as soon as I got hate, I was like, I actually can't handle this. I'm deleting everything. So, and a lot of it
Right.
found was basically what this guy was saying in his article. Um, and so I wanted to read just a few of the ones that I found and get your opinion on if you think this is accurate or not. Um,
I shall do my best.
Masculine men should, quote, speak in a deep voice, play and watch sports like football and basketball, and drink beer.
That literally basically defines every single straight, like 20 to 25-year-old dude in college. Not necessarily masculine, because I know many masculine people or like guys that are like, beer sucks.
Beer's gross.
I can't say anything. I like beer, but you see what I'm saying. But like also I know masculine guys that are like, yeah, I don't watch sports at all. Like I know one person who's like, we met this guy on campus who's like, I go to plays, and I was like, aren't you on the football team? And he goes, yeah, but the only football I watch is our film. And I was like, so you only watch it because you have to? And he goes, yep. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh well, all right, dude. Like you're one of the most masculine people I've ever met. Like deep voice, like he's 6'6", like he's big as hell. Goes to place.
Yeah. Well, I think that ties into the next one of having a gay voice, standing too gay, or liking gay things.
Is non-masculine?
Is those are things that are not masculine. Yeah.
No, that's dumb. Yeah, because I'll catch myself standing like weird, and I'm like, oh, why am I standing like that? And it's not only because it's a gay stance, but I'm like, why the hell was I standing like that?
Well, then what
Why
do you
was I
find
sitting like, yeah, like what
gay
is a gay
things?
stance? What is a gay stance? Like
Well,
maybe just this. Like I get
this
this.
is this is the
Like that
universal
hurts my.
sign via TikTok of I'm gay.
Yeah, I don't.
But like
You
what are
don't
gay
have to
things?
be. Yeah, I don't know.
Musical
Like,
theater?
like I don't know. Like just
RuPaul's
because
Drag Race? I don't watch Drag Race anymore. I used to, but now
you watched, you made me watch an episode of that, and I wanted to shoot myself. Not because it was like drag drag queens, races, but that was the most boring shit I've ever watched.
the actual episodes, like the runways and that kind of stuff, boring as all shit. Untucked, where they're like backstage after they do like the runway or the challenge or whatever, that's when shit goes down. That's where they're throwing drinks at each other. And
Whatever you showed me, and there
I think
was
I showed you like
none
a,
of
because I wasn't really watching Untucked that much.
drinks thrown. That was the most boring shit. I only did it because I lost a bet, and that was terrible,
Some other things.
awful.
Somebody said guys into sports, more masculine things in terms of appearance, non-feminine clothing, no painting nails, hair dyed, etc. And then this
Yeah, I
person
know.
said, pics? Question mark.
Do you know how many like professional athletes paint their nails?
Yeah,
Like I think most catchers in the MLB paint their nails bright ash colors.
yeah.
A, because one, it helps the pitcher see and they can tell like what pitch they're calling.
Hmm.
And two, because like a lot of players that do it to symbolize a family member.
Yeah.
Like there's a what was it? I want to say a basketball player that his daughter loves doing nails.
Oh, I do remember seeing that.
So he's just like every night before I go to practice or a game, if she doesn't go, she'll paint my nails a different color, and I doesn't bother me. Like
Yes.
painting nails is so that's dumb. Like I will never paint my
I did it once and
nails,
actually,
but like if you want to do it, go for you. Like I might like if one of my buddies did, I might buzz their balls a little bit, but I don't care. Like you do you, dude. It's not gay to paint your nails.
right.
Dumb.
Somebody else said, being a regular guy. Hard to describe, I guess. You would have to know what femininity is and how it's the opposite. I know it when I see it. Maybe an image of someone. Masculinity is important to me because that is what I'm attracted to. A man. Anything that is feminine, I am not attracted to. In general, I think a lot of gays have a sexual fantasy about masculinity, rough, hard, and aggressive. And for some, masculinity is like being straight but into guys. So maybe more normal for them.
That was a lot, but what does normal consist of then?
You are asking great questions
Like I
that
feel like okay, it's normal.
Mhm.
The fuck does normal look like? Like I could look at somebody and you can too and be like, yeah, that guy or that person might be gay, but it also could just be a normal ass dude. But what again? What the flying hell is normal?
Correct. Yeah.
So
There's one more that I want to read to you. And I think this is honestly, for a man on Grinder, this is the best explanation of what masculinity is. He said, If femininity is complete control over one's self, masculinity is the power to take action on all of self's desires, only after self has been mastered. Everyone is made of masculine and feminine energies. Feminine is the power to go inward, heal, and transform. Masculine is the power to go outward and conquer. They work together.
Well, I think they just found the definition of both of them.
I think that is great. And for,
As most straight men will, like, if you go up to a random straight guy, like, hey, when was the last time you cried?
mhm,
Most of them will be like, I don't
boys don't
know.
cry.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because it's most, not even most, all straight guys were taught or learned over the time that's you can feel, that's okay to feel. It's not okay to show.
Hmm. Well, I think it's all men in
Drive
general,
those,
gay or
yeah,
straight. All men are.
drive them dogs down
Hmm.
and keep on schmoving. The feminine side of guys is like, no, 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 no. Feel. It's okay to feel. It's okay to show the feel. It's okay to show the hurt,
Yes.
but they will work together. Because like sometimes I'll be so angry that if I actually showed it, I would be arrested because I would just flat out punch or hurt somebody. But that's the men's side. Like push that shit down.
Hmm.
Because if the feminine side is like, no, show it, show it, show it. The little gremlin, like, show it, show it.
Well, and it's
No,
the
no.
like the angel and the devil on your shoulder, right? You
Yeah.
have both masculine and feminine character traits. I mean, it is feminine to nurture and to care and to love. Those are all feminine
That's
qualities.
the mom.
But if you cannot do those things, you're never going to form good relationships with people, and human beings are social creatures.
Yeah, you're just gonna be a dick if you can't figure out that.
If you can't
Like,
figure
but I think that
it out, nobody's
yeah,
going to want to be around you.
nobody's gonna want to be your friend, and then they're gonna be like you, Gino, friendless.
I have friends, okay?
If you say so.
But a lot of the men that I was talking to on Grinder did not have any of that insight or that like
No, I think it's
it
also
was
like how people
a lot of the guys that are into sports or drink beer. Or,
like, dude, girls can be into sports and drink beer. That doesn't make them not feminine.
hmm.
That just makes them liking different things.
I do find it interesting though with girls and like liking sports. Men want a girl that likes sports. But then when a girl wears a jersey or a team's logo,
Yeah.
the men's first question is, well, do you know anybody that's on that team? Name five players. What are their
Oh, I do. I'll
stats?
do that shit to no. I'll do that shit to
And I'm
normal
like,
people. I'll just see a guy wearing a jersey. So I was like, I wonder if that guy can name five other guys from that team.
right,
But
but like,
I wonder. But like my thing is like I want a girl to like sports that like sports. I don't necessarily want her to be the same sport as me
right.
because if we're both going insane watching the Avs game, that's a bad idea. That's bad. Don't do that.
Uh,
But like if you like hockey or like sports in general, then it's good because we can go to the games. But if we're both in it and want to see the team win, then you just got like grandma and mom shouting at the TV like the guys can hear them. Like mom and grandma, they're 400 miles away
yeah,
and like, they can't hear you. Stop screaming at the TV. You're scaring the dog. You're scaring me. Stop. Like,
yeah, exactly. But I
but
think
I also
that's
know girls that like beer. Like one of our friends, Mac, will drink all the beer. I'm like, how? Whoa, whoa,
I love to
whoa!
have beer. I've
Stop
tried
touching
it.
my.
It's gross.
I like it.
And that's okay. I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad you
Yeah,
can
because
like
it's cheap.
it. It is cheap. But speaking
Like
of
how
liking things, we have now reached the end of our episode.
yes, I'm hungry.
So at the end of
Make
every
ramen.
episode, we are going to give a suggestion of things we are consuming. TV shows, music, movies, books, whatever it is that you want people to also enjoy. YouTube videos, whatever it may be. So, what is something that you are currently consuming that you want to suggest to other people?
Drink your goddamn water.
That is a great suggestion.
Like I've been drinking so much water recently. Like I didn't realize how like dehydrated you get throughout the day. Throughout the day, I don't care. Like for me, I can drink normal water, but I also put creatine in my water.
Yeah,
I don't care. Drink your goddamn water, people. Stop being dehydrated and complaining that you have a headache. Because I know a lot of girls that are like, I have a headache, and their boyfriends are gonna be like, Did you eat? No. Did you drink any water? No. You had breadcrumbs for breakfast. Drink your goddamn water. Fill up a water bottle. Drink the goddamn thing. It's my suggestion. Do
that's just.
better. God damn
Is there
it.
any music or movies
um,
or shows?
if you know me in person, you know I don't really watch shows or movies. I get distracted easily.
Right.
Like I'll start a YouTube video, depending on the YouTube video. Get distracted, I'll change the YouTube video. I think music wise, I'll have to say J. Cole just came out with a new album.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. Um Also the where's the other song?
I know
There's
Kendrick Lamar
this
just came out with a new album.
he did. He did, sure did. Listen to it.
I have not heard a
I've
single.
I've there's a song that I was listening to. Where is it? It's called what is it called? See You Again in quotation marks, Papa song by Cody Leroy Rose. Banger if you've ever lost your grandpa. Banger. A little bit hurts. But and then Burning Down, Alex Warren, Joe
That song
Jonas.
is so. Oh, I haven't heard the
Banger.
Joe Jonas version, but the original
Banger.
song is really
Yeah.
fun.
I wish in this part with the Joe Jonas, I wish he had like his own kind of like verse and chorus or like his own verse.
Yeah.
Still fire though. Still good. Check it out. But
Okay.
yeah, I listen to a lot of music. I can't
Okay.
really narrow down, but yeah,
Very
music for sure dialed up.
nice. Very nice. Well, mine for this week, if you have the chance to go to the movies and sit through
Oh, I already know what you're gonna say.
a 2 hour and 40-minute movie, I highly, highly, highly suggest the Wicked movie. It is
I know. See,
no,
I've never
it
seen
just
it. I've never seen it. I've never
it
seen it. So
is so good. Even if you don't like musical theater, like I would suggest going to see this movie, especially in like the
when I
current
listen, yeah.
time of right now of what is going on in the world. Like
Mhm.
this is a movie that is based off of a musical written in 2003 that is based off of a book written in like the 1950s and it is still relevant today. I highly suggest it. If you don't want to sit through a 2 hour and 40-minute movie, totally get it. Watch the stage production. It's going to be a little bit different, but the full show is 2 hours and like 2.5 hours, and that's the full show. The Wicked movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it's only act one. Or listen to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is great. Um, I just have a deep, deep love for this show. And so any chance I can, I will suggest listening or watching or consuming media about Wicked because it is just it's so good. So,
I think if we're going on movies now, Gladiator 2,
okay.
fire. You don't really need to watch Gladiator 1 because Gladiator 1 came out like 20 years ago. Yeah, it came out 24 years ago as a sequel to Gladiator, and Gladiator came out 2000.
Uh,
But go
or
watch it.
another really good movie, Inside Out 2. If you have not seen Inside Out 2, it does a very good job of showing like what anxiety actually looks like and
Shit,
with
I don't need to know what it looks like. I have.
but like it does a very good job of showing like what it feels like inside of the brain of somebody with anxiety. Like it is just for a kids movie to show that it was just really really cool. So that is our media suggestions for the week. Um this is like officially the end of our first episode of the Bro Code. Is there anything else
Woo.
you want to say before we, sign off?
Um, I'm hungry. I'm gonna be a normal college student and make a thing of ramen and a bag of oatmeal and eat that.
That is a strange combination. But
Look, I don't have any food in my. I do have frozen pizzas though. The
that I
problem is I took them out of the box, so I don't know how long to preheat or cook them for. So I have to Google that. I don't feel like doing that at 12:30 at night. I'm gonna do that tomorrow,
fair.
and I'm gonna leave two or one for the guys in the room because I'm leaving Justin unsupervised during Thursday. I don't know how well that's gonna go because he leaves on Friday. Um, but hey, I'm also gonna leave like 6 beers for him.
Hey.
Unless I drink two of them tomorrow. I don't know. Possibly. Shit. I'm gonna tell you.
Um,
Um,
good luck to him then.
yeah, he's gonna be unsupervised. So
Well,
God only knows what.
uh, Godspeed.
Yeah, may God rest his soul. Because
Uh,
I'm the only one that kind of sort of keeps him in check. Not really. I do my best, but
it's
sometimes I
like
like to see him do.
blind leading.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I like to see him do the dumb stuff that he does. That's why we call him Roof. So
Well,
yeah.
that is all for this first episode of Bro Code. Thank you all for joining us. Feel
Yeah.
free to join the conversation in the comments below as long as it is nice and respectful. If not, I will delete your comment.
I won't. I'll respond to it even meaner.
Like we don't have to subject ourselves to mean people, and I'm not going to. I don't have the time or the energy. So feel free to join the conversation as long as it is nice and respectful and all of the things. Um, yeah, that is that is all for today. Um, see you all next week for another episode of the Bro Code. Goodbye.
The